We are back to talk about Quant and what the Quant network can actually look like as an example and how it connects with so many different kinds of industry because it's designed for interoperability. So Quant is at about 100 bucks. That's where it likes to hang out. One thing that I did catch on here is that the volume has really picked up since about mid 2021, obviously, but it's held pretty well even throughout this market that we're in at the moment. So I am really happy to see that, but it also makes sense because they are currently working with some very large partners, not only on the enterprise end of things, which we'll touch more on here, but on the traditional, well, not traditional, but the financial technology end of things with the Bank of International Settlements and the Bank of England as well for some CBDC related work. I'm not a fan of those, but I believe that they are inevitable, and whatever I can do to position myself well before all of that hits, I'm okay with that at this point in time. And I will continue to make that comment each and every time. So, here is the really interesting graphic, and it's a great example of what all Quant can do, who it's currently able to work with, and it also offers some explanations as well. So this XX account on here, I have no idea what that name actually means. I know that there's some numerology in there, but this is a graphic that they put together to illustrate what Quant is working on now, what they are accomplishing now, but also it highlights a lot of their partnerships as well. So the Quant token is the native cryptocurrency of the Quant network ecosystem. It serves a few purposes within the Quant network and its flagship product, the Overledger. I apologize for the L's. I always have a hard time with those. It did make it sound a little bit more dramatic in an awkward way. So it is a utility token. So Quant is a utility token within the Quant network ecosystem, providing access to various services and features. Users may need to hold and use Quant to access and utilize certain functionalities within the network, which I explained a bit more on that in my previous Quant video that I will drop in the description. The licensing part is interesting because they essentially charge developers and people who want to use the Quant network in that way to essentially tie up a certain amount of Quant. So they are held up on the network and they can't really use them, which drives the value up of all of the other Quant that is actually being used for the network transaction end of things. The network security is a really big part of this because the CEO, Gilbert Verdian, has about 20 years in the cybersecurity world, and he has worked with major people, companies, entities, all kinds of stuff. So Quant has a role in maintaining the security and the integrity of the Quant network. It is staked, I have a hard time with STs, by participants in the network, such as enterprises or developers, as a measure to ensure trust and prevent malicious behavior, which is kind of what it was explaining in the licensing portion as well. As far as governance goes, quant holders can participate in the governance of the ecosystem with the right to vote on proposals, changes, all of that stuff, which isn't exactly groundbreaking, but it's important. So the big thing is that Quant is a multi-ledger token. It is designed for interoperability to tie different chains together that do very different things in different ways, but to combine them all without having to do way crazy complicated coding, wrapping tokens on a different network, all of that kind of crap that is more common with a lot of cryptos who are trying to do that right now. So the multi-ledger tokens, also known as cross-chain tokens, are assets designed to be used across multiple blockchain networks. They aim to achieve interoperability by enabling seamless communication, data sharing, and value transfer between different chains. It's accomplished through approaches such as atomic swaps, sidechain, cross-chain bridges, or overlay protocols. Essentially, sidechains are it's an extension of the main network that's kind of operating independently, but it's still operating in the network itself. Cross-chain bridges are where you're like wrapping different tokens and representing them on a different chain. Not really too familiar with overlay and atomic swaps. I've heard of that, but I don't get that far into this stuff yet. I just like to understand how things work, how they tie together, and how to invest in the right things. But these multi-ledger tokens promote liquidity, efficiency, and flexibility in the blockchain ecosystem. I'm all about efficiency in all forms. I don't really like proof of work because of that, but I thought it was really interesting that the multi-ledger tokens out there are only Quant and LCX, whereas LCX is not it is actually designed to be a security token. I believe it is the native token of an exchange that is for crypto assets or tokens that are already set up and are determined to be securities. So that was really interesting. It has highlighted that. It's also on the Quant site as well. But Quant is already working with a lot of major players. I always talk about the Bank of International Settlements, the digital euro project is big too. I believe that's through the Bank of England. I believe this is maybe Santander, maybe off of that logo. I'm not sure, but Oracle's huge. That's a lot of information and data. The ISO organization, they are one of those quote-unquote ISO 200 2022 tokens as well. So essentially, the Overledger works by using different multi-chain apps or mApps and being able to easily use APIs to connect to other protocols and make the coding much more straightforward than it is on a lot of other different crypto protocols. So for example, we can pull in a lot of information and data here. We can pull in different transfers of different assets, different cash and fiat. You have XRP and XLM, which can act as a bridge there. This is more contractual because you've got R3 in here, right? That is the R3 Corda, it's XDC, all of that stuff. Then you have your traditional finance people, Chase, Bank of America, Santander. And here's your more fiat payment, I guess. So ignore the cash thing I commented on here. This is more of your traditional payment systems. This is more of your bridge assets, I guess. So essentially, it can pull pieces of information from all of these different spots into one overall app and use it however it likes. So for an example here, you can combine supply chain, say that you operate some kind of a supply chain organization. You can use an API to tokenize information off of that. You can tokenize information off of your ERP, which is enterprise resource planning software, I think. It's oh man, I forget the name of that one that I work. It's called SAP. I think that's the main one out there still. You can tokenize information and data. You can tokenize money as well to transfer in and out, and the same goes for payments. And then all of this information can be combined however it wants, and then it can be represented on chain. So this is a very great visual of what Quant is working on, who they're partnered with, and what it can combine into, which is essentially an infinite number of different combinations of products as it scales. So I was just wanting to run through this, and I want to go more in depth into Quant because it is one of the projects that I'm the most interested in right now, just because of the tokenomics. I think it can hit 1,000 per quant pretty easily, and possibly even up to 10K and then after that, it's just about how much value that they're able to bring on to the Quant network itself. So just keep in tune for that.